What up, Chicago Bears fans? It's another week and the Bears are still in the playoffs. We got the Rams coming to frigid Chicago. I got my scarf. It's cold outside, man. Those LA dudes don't know nothing about it. They don't think the weather's going to affect them. The Rams fans are out there saying it's not going to be an issue. I don't know if it is or not. I want to know what you guys think about it. We'll see if that plays a factor. We want to talk about Caleb Williams, as always. I want to talk some Colston Loveland because I fucking love him. We'll get into whatever y'all want to get into, but obviously we're just going to chop it up about this game, have a damn good time doing it, and bear the fuck down. Let's go.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars align. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the Southside parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
What up to everybody in the chat already, man? We had Ted is like a boss throwing shit in here at like 11 o'clock. Shorty, what up, dude? Antmus. Hey, Shorty, y'all had a great show. Shorty and them had Eric Kramer on, and they had another guest. I'm blanking on his name. I think his name was Glenn. I mean, it was an awesome show, man. Y'all did a great job. It was really cool.
Great time to have Eric Kramer on a show.
When Caleb just broke, obviously Caleb just broke his passing record in a season for Chicago Bears. They talked about
their show's always good, man. I have not watched a single CSP or country podcast that wasn't good.
Foster
Country Pocket, guys. For all those who are in here that don't watch BCP,
everyone in here watches BCP.
Well, if you don't, go check the show.
I promise.
You never know, man. A shout out's always worth it. Fuck off. Go watch the show, guys. If you never watched it, go watch it. It's live every Thursday.
What's up, John? Yep, bear down. Ron says Scottish as always. Love to have you here, man. He always comes with some really poignant thoughts. I'm excited, man. I feel good about this weekend, as good as you can feel, given the way that the Bears tend to play football games, and we're going to get into that. Brandon, how's your day been, man? It's good to see you. It's been a while. Everything good? I like that you kind of decorated a little bit in the back. It's much better than the waiting.
I appreciate you using such an elegant word as decorated.
Yeah, man.
Thumbtacks in the wall.
You got some work done today. Appreciate it.
I had a good day. I got a haircut. Got them all cut before you even said it.
No.
How about you? I know you worked.
I shaved my head today, so that's cool. Yeah, man, I worked. I come home. Yeah, I shaved.
Did you really shave your head?
Yeah, I always shave my head.
That's fucking weird.
Thursdays.
We both took care of our hair catering.
I shaved my pubes too. Okay. How about you?
No, I did not. I did not.
Anyways, what was I about to say? God damn it! Yeah, I shave my face too. Yeah, I try to keep myself trimmed. Foster says, "Boys, you've missed many shows. If you say it's always a great show," is what Foster's saying. Yeah, I've missed some for sure, but like
Foster, when they're bad, they're the best. If you only understood it.
Sure. Oh yeah, my whole thing I was gonna say, man.
When I get home, show is a must see. Go ahead, Dustin.
All right, don't suck their dick too much, man.
I love the show, man. I told you, I have tried watching like 35 Bears podcasts, and I don't like any of them. And
Bizzo says Brandon Dustin, with the $50 haircut.
When you listen to the radio, like sports radio, or when you listen to a podcast of people you don't really respect all that much, are you just dying the whole time, thinking they should say something specifically?
I mean,
that's all that happens for me through the entire show. Like you
honestly, with podcasts, I don't have that expectation as much, man. To be honest, people are going to talk about what they want to talk about. When I used to listen to sports talk radio, I would have that a lot.
Yeah, where you're like, just say it. It's right there. Yeah. It's like say this shit.
This ain't a job for us, man. We can talk about whatever we want. I just talked about how I shaved my pubes. I was lying, by the way. I didn't shave my pubes. They're still. Anyways. That's why I don't judge people on podcasts. Yep. I always wrapping
Shorty
it back
feels
around.
me. Thanks, Shorty. Appreciate you.
No, in terms
So
of,
Joe, if I paid
I have a
$50
very
for this
select
haircut,
amount of podcasts I do watch. That is for sure.
if I paid $50 for this haircut, fucking stylist better had a gun and a mask. Well, they
Um,
rob me.
when I get home late at night, man, I got this 8-month-old baby, this beautiful, beautiful baby. And she's sleeping, and like my whole goal is to be as fucking quiet as possible. Because if I wake her up, like,
Oh, am I fucking that up?
no, I mean,
What's up
I'm
with
not
this
saying
message?
that wasn't the point of my show. Yeah, be quiet, Brandon. Just stop talking for a while. The point of what I'm saying was, I got home and like a fucking broom that's hanging up on like the rack we have in there just kind of like fell down, smashed into my cat's metal bowl, just this giant fucking clang. My cat Nikki comes running out of there like Fred Flintstone, sliding all like Scooby-Doo, sliding all over the place. It's so fucking loud, and I'm like, God damn it, dude. Like, that's my luck right before the show starts. The baby didn't wake up, but maybe she did. I just got a text from the wife, Brandon. You got to carry this for a second. I got to see what's going on. Give me 1 second, all right?
All right. Yeah, well, before we dive into the Rams, guys, and obviously, I appreciate you, everybody being here. Shorty, Foster, love the show. Like I said, guys, go check them out. Bears Country Podcast. I think before we move into the Rams, I'm not finished with the Packers. What about you guys? I'm not done with that yet. I think we gotta dwell on that for a little bit. Um, I don't know. Like, there's so much. This Packers Bears rivalry has always been pretty violent and heated through the course of my life. I've seen a lot of things, especially when I went to Lambeau Field, but it's never been what it is now. I've never heard Packers fans so emboldened to talk so much shit about a team that finally deserves some respect. And you can only fathom here, guys, that the only reason they do is because this team is finally respectable. And that's what I've come. The conclusion I've reached is no more talk. I was like back and forth with all these guys on these forums and stuff in these groups. It's just so obvious. Now there's a lot of posters like, oh, the Lions thought the same thing too. They thought they had a dynasty and now they fell apart. Now the Bears got the same feeling because they won a game. Yeah, no shit. It's glaring you in the face. The dynasty that was the Lions made his way over to Chicago, and now we
Oh, you're
now
doing
we
this
got,
again. I
yeah,
know.
yeah. Because I shared that picture with you. This is a thing, man. This is a thing. The Packers' rebuttal here to this loss that they've suffered so miserably and without fucking dignity is the Lions thought they were good too. Yeah, they did until the guy left and became the Bears head coach. So
Until they
eat a
remembered
dick.
they were the Lions, man. I don't know. Like, Ben Johnson is a damn good coach. He has shown himself to be that up to this point.
And the play caller
Obviously,
got
a
fired, and the
blessing
Lions. Yeah.
for Chicago.
So
Yeah, and I mean they made the wrong choice in that regard too. If they had made a better choice, then things might have gone differently for the Lions. That stuff can bite you in
but
the ass. Ben
there's
Johnson
no
made a lot of
mystery
good
to where the
choices on
success
his
went,
coaching
man.
staff as well.
Like, we just went from the worst team in the NFC North to winning it, and the
Well, there's
Lions just
multiple
went from winning
correlations.
it to the worst team in the North, dude. It's
Well,
like
you also
something.
traded for Joe Tooney, and the Chiefs gave him up, and then now the
Yeah.
Chiefs are out of the
Well,
playoffs, and the Bears are in the playoffs and moving on in the playoffs. So like the Bears went and cherry picked from successful people from multiple organizations,
right, but
and
even
they've
if you
had a
go cherry
positive
pick all the
impact on this
successful
team.
players in the world, if you don't hire the right fucking guy, it ain't happening, dude. We know that. We've seen
Shorty,
this too
what
many
the
times.
fuck are you talking about? You need to come in here and say that to my face. I hate you guys. I was watching you guys while I was at work tonight, man. Steal your format. I don't steal. I'm just being myself. If that's a format, then I guess yeah, I stole it from you, Shorty. I love the sideways cheese grater hat, by the way. You don't see anybody rocking the cheese grater hat sideways, Shorty. It's just straight up. Scotty says, hopefully the Bears players
Ray
are moving on
Matthews
from the
had to wear
Packers.
one of those on the show.
I saw that. This is the point I wanted to make, man. We're not gonna do that tonight, Brandon. What I've seen a lot of shows do. We're not gonna steal that from BCP tonight. I don't really want to talk the Packers. I think it's
Oh, I
time to
kind of
move.
wanted to.
I think it's time to move on from that because you got the Rams coming to Chicago on Sunday, and that's what we're focused on. Obviously, you got over that hump, but like just like Bears players, gotta got to move on. Got to focus on what's going on this week. If
I don't agree.
if you really want to be that team that establishes themselves,
I'm going
as
to do this all
on
fucking
top,
off season, Dustin.
as on top.
You out of your mind?
If you really want to establish yourself as that team and that fan base that's on top in this rivalry, fucking don't pay them no mind no more. We move past them. That's the way I'm looking at it. I want to focus on this Rams game. I want to focus on what the Bears can do and opportunities they can take advantage of in terms of matchups to win this game. And I really want, obviously, the Bears. That's what they're focused on, and that's what good teams are going to do.
But you're talking like we just beat the fucking Eagles. Like,
I know, Shorty. I know
rivalries don't take timeouts,
Dustin.
Dustin. They don't take the off season. Rivalries are rivalries. The Packers shit don't stop. It never ends. That's the point. That's what makes it a rivalry. Because if it did, if we moved on from it every time we beat them or played them or whatever, it wouldn't be a fucking rivalry. It would just
we're
be the
on
same
to bigger
shit.
and better things. We're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, the Bears are absolutely. As a fan,
100%.
I am on to doing exactly what the fuck I'm going to do for the rest of this offseason.
Okay, well, if
laying it on, dude.
If the Bears lose to the Rams in terrible fashion on Sunday,
what does that mean?
Do you cling to that Packers win as like it was a successful season at this point? I don't. You know, you got to go out there and beat this team.
Are you like telling me to be the bigger man with the Packers fan base right now? Because I would punch you in the balls.
No, you're missing. You would dream of punching me in the balls. You better wake up and apologize, motherfucker.
What?
I said if you ever dream of punching me in the balls, you better wake up and apologize.
I just said I would.
Well, come on. Come do it.
What do you mean, man? There's no you don't.
I know you're messing with me, Shorty. It's all good. I was fucking with you.
I agree with you that the focus is the Rams, and that's what this show's going to be about. That's what the thumbnail says. But like, I agreed with you last Monday when you said we'll talk about the Packers a little more. We'll beat this up a little more when we come around on Thursday night because that's just what it is, dude. You don't, fucking rivalries don't take time off. That's not how that works. It's not about.
I'm not.
It's not about hanging your head on the Packers game as that was the success of your season.
I don't want to focus on it too much in terms of this. I don't want to talk about.
Well, yeah. Now we already did too much.
I don't want to talk about the Packers,
guys. Hey, guys, fuck the Packers.
And Foster says, I just want those records back from FGB. We need them back. And Caleb's tenure, 10 years. I mean, what I do believe is that you're going to see the dynamic of that rivalry shift. Pretty strongly. Very strongly.
Caleb's 3-2. One of the losses was a blocked field goal. The loss that they blocked the field goal, he put them in position to win that game. Caleb Williams is going to beat the Packers up, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that can transition. I mean, we'll get into this Bears-Rams game, but you said you wanted to talk about Caleb, and Caleb is going, as Foster pointed out, as you're saying, Caleb's going to be the key to that. Caleb and Ben Johnson in terms of establishing your dominance over all of these teams in your division.
And I want to, because Caleb, we always relate to Caleb in terms of Bears fans, Dustin. That's how we always look at it. Did he beat Kramer's record? He threw the most yards. It's just always in perspective from a Bears fan base is how we view Caleb, comparing him to what we've had before. But Caleb's doing things right now, and he's done things already in the NFL that no quarterback ever has. And a rookie quarterback has never stepped foot on a Super Bowl field. But like the first 30 starts with the touchdown interception ratio being the best in NFL history, the broken record in his rookie season for most pass attempts without an interception. Now he has that record in the NFL for that as a rookie. So it's like, we're talking about what Caleb can be and whether or not he's generational, but is he not already doing things? Listen, a Bears fan, a friend of mine tonight said, I hope Caleb is the guy that we drafted him to be. And I said, hope? He
already has been that since he was drafted.
The mindset is still like Caleb's ceiling is all he'll ever chase, as opposed to whatever he reaches isn't greatness. You know what I mean?
Pilgrim. No, yeah, no doubt, man. And it's just like, I don't know. There's always this fear. It's usually the sophomore slump, right? Like you come out as a rookie and you kind of snap, like what happened to Jaden Daniels, you know. But what you're
Yeah.
seeing with Caleb and what you saw last year with Caleb Brandon is that he held his head up. Most sacked quarterback in the NFL, 68 times. We all know that. The offensive line gave up 37 of them. And like he was just put in a really bad spot. 3 different offensive coordinators in his rookie season. And he still went out there and played really well, didn't turn the ball over, made plays to get his team in position to went up to the podium after bad losses that really weren't on him and took it on the chin like a fucking champ. And then you see him get Ben Johnson and he puts an offense in place that Caleb's got to master and learn. And that's a slow process. And all you hear is how coachable he is and how bought in he is to Ben Johnson. You can see that and how he's performing on the field and progressing. And then how that relationship between him and Ben Johnson, it's just like, all you can really project right now when you're looking at Caleb Williams, Brandon, is progress. You going up, not going back, because you see what he did in a shitty situation, and now you see what he's doing in the infancy stage of this Ben Johnson situation, and it's just like, how does this not get better when you look at the fact that he has all the physical talent in the world, better than most quarterbacks? He might have the best arm talent in the NFL right now, and he's completing 58% of his passes, Brandon. You think Ben Johnson's not going to continue to hone that in, and Caleb Williams ain't going to work on that? And how much better can he get
it'll
when
immediately
that
improve
shit
next
starts
year.
to improve?
Yeah. And on top of that, like you said, when you first started, like the sophomore slump thing, man, I mean, Drake May and Caleb Williams have really stood out to me as the quarterbacks of this class because they're consistently progressing. You know what I mean? Bo Nix is kind of
and their
who
situations
Bo Nix is.
changed, which led to that progression. You know, they were in both. Drake May was in a fucking Drake May had maybe the worst head coach in NFL history last year with Rod Mayo. You know, and
Yeah, for
look at
sure.
that flip to I mean, it's a competition between him and Matt Eberflus, but look at that flip
And
to
Urban
Vrabel
Meyer.
and Josh McDaniels and what that did. You know,
But and then you look at, and I, you know, somebody shared the video about it, and I shared it with you guys. But I was texting you this the day after that Bears Packers game. What you saw in that game was the difference between a good Super Bowl winning quarterback and a good not Super Bowl winning quarterback, because Jordan Love is a good quarterback, man. But they're coming down to the final drive, when they're expecting to get the ball back, he's standing there with his hands in his shoulder pad and his hood on, looking at the field, like I guess hoping one way or another for his defense to come through. But Caleb's on the sideline yelling at people and telling people how to fix whatever went wrong in the last one.
very Tom Brady-ish.
It's
Very
yes,
Tom Brady-ish.
greatness, Dustin. Right? Am I being biased, or is like you see that in
Probably a little bit.
Peyton Manning did it as well. Philip Rivers did it. The people who were still the leader of their team on the sideline while the game was going on behind them is different. And am I wrong, man, or did Jordan Love?
I don't know, man. People can lead in different ways. We don't. I mean, the camera's not on Jordan Love the whole time. I don't know. I don't know what Jordan Love's leadership is, and honestly, we don't know what Caleb Williams' leadership is. But you can see that the team.
No,
is
we
can see that the team is rallying behind him, and you can see that Caleb is willing to hold them accountable.
Well, Luther Burke made a video today where he all hailed Caleb.
Yeah. But and he talked about it in his press conference, Caleb, saying, you know, I get held accountable every day, and I want to hold these guys accountable. And that's what a leader does. You hold people accountable. So if Ben's holding him accountable, and then he's holding the players that he's playing with accountable, that is that hierarchy and how it's supposed to go. And Caleb Williams is fitting into it very nicely.
And you said something that kind of bothers me. You said, I don't know what kind of leader Jordan Love is. You know when they are. Jalen Hurts is the leader of his football team, without a doubt.
They lost in a game that they were favored
teams
to win.
lose, man. But he is clearly, you visibly see his poise when they're winning Super Bowls. He's laying against a wall, smoking a cigar while everybody else is getting drunk. I mean, this guy is in charge of that football team. It's pretty obvious to me. When you don't know if a guy is, that might just be a message in itself, Dustin.
Scottish says Williams is the difference.
You knew Brady was. You knew Manning was. You know Caleb is. You said, I don't know what kind of leader Jordan Love is. What does that imply?
That implies that I don't follow that team the way I follow this team.
but you
I
see him on
know
the
what
sideline every
I
time
see
he
what
plays.
Caleb Williams is doing,
You watch
and
more football than me. You've
I
probably watched
watch
more Packers than
I
I have.
watch
I
press
don't see
conferences
leader.
of Caleb. Okay, then you're saying Jordan Love's not a leader, and I'm
I
just
don't
not
see
going to
it
say that because I don't know. I know that Caleb Williams is, and he's growing
because
into
you
that
see it.
role,
Yeah.
but I see it in Chicago because I am focused on it on a pretty consistent
You saw
basis.
it because on primetime television, they showed him fucking screaming at his team about
and
mental mistakes.
no,
Like,
again, it goes back to press conferences with
dude,
Caleb
the
Williams
Packers
last
were
year.
falling apart, and you didn't see a single shot of Jordan Love speaking to his team that was imploding on itself for two
I think
entire
Matt
quarters.
LaFleur. I think Matt
That's
LaFleur.
a
I think
message in itself.
Oh,
It
sure.
is.
I think Matt LaFleur failed his team in terms of
But this
leadership
isn't
as
about
well.
Jordan Love. It's about Caleb. And what
Mhm.
the chasing greatness thing, man, is are we already seeing traits of quarterbacks that have achieved a lot in the NFL in Caleb Williams, especially with the records he's set? The no turnovers, the touchdown interception ratio in the first 30, like these things, the breaking the Bears passing record. These people we're consistently talking about how good Caleb will be one day. And I don't think anyone has really stopped to embrace
To appreciate
how
how good he is
special he
right
actually
fucking
has
now.
been.
Yeah.
Yes. And
How good he is right now at this moment.
and
Yeah.
would you
With
put it
so
past
much
him,
more
Dustin,
work to do. With so much
to
more work to do.
would you put it past him to break the barriers that are the first rookie quarterback to ever take a snap in a Super Bowl?
No, not at all. I mean, we've been saying for weeks now, like this team can do it. This team can go to
I
the Super
didn't
Bowl,
believe Jaden
especially in these
Daniels was
seasons.
going to beat the Eagles. I thought Jaden Daniels, the
No.
rookie factor would catch up to Jaden Daniels, and it did.
Well, the other
And
thing though, Brandon, is there's no team this year that's anywhere near as good as that Eagles team was
no,
last
there's
year.
not, because
That's
that
a
Eagles
big part
team
of it.
is the precedence for when you're talking about that dominant force in the
Mhm.
NFL. I mean, I
I
never believed the Chiefs were going to beat that team, dude.
Scottish, I
Not for a
wanted to shout
minute.
this chat out because it was a good one. He says Williams is the difference. Flip the QBs, Green Bay wins. It's as simple as that. I mean, and that's kind of harping on your point, Brandon, where Caleb was rallying the troops and staying in the game and making the plays when it was on the line. Jordan Love
Jordan Love
was
looked complacent.
yeah.
He
And
did.
Jordan Love made some passes towards the end of that game, but
No, I
like
don't mean the
it
way
just
that he
wasn't the
played,
same.
man. I
Yeah,
don't mean the way that
I
he
know you don't
played.
mean
And
that.
and he actually did. You're right. I thought he did actually play differently. He looked under duress. He made mistakes. Some of his throws,
The play calling was more
even the
conservative.
drops they credited to some of the receivers, the ball was not where it needed to be. I mean, you could still say receivers hand hit it, but like Jordan Love threw some passes that weren't where they needed to be. But just the guy on the
Well said,
sideline,
J2K.
man. I was texting you guys this. This doesn't come from what social media implies or what anybody has to say about this. And I texted you the next morning.
Exactly,
I think
Scottish.
we watched two good quarterbacks, and you saw the difference in the fucking ultimate competitor and the guy who will probably always just compete.
Well, and I mean that goes back to what
Like,
Sean says all the time. Just good enough to break your heart, and that doesn't necessarily have to be about the play on the field. That can also be about how you lead your team, the mentality with which you approach the game. I mean, Tom Brady approached it to where he was
Peyton
going to get
Manning, man,
every single advantage, and he was going to pull everything out of his
snapping on the
players
sideline.
that he could in the moment and throughout the week at practice. And I mean, it seems like Caleb is that kind of dude, and he's growing into that kind of role. And really, a lot of credit to Ben Johnson for having that confidence in Caleb and instilling that confidence in Caleb to really step into that role. I mean, if you remember just last year, I mean, there was a lot of little bro moments with Caleb Williams. He was a rookie; it was to be expected. But like that don't happen generally with number one overall picks, like the number one receiver on your team, kind of big bro and the quarterback, the number one overall pick. Like Caleb, that shit ain't happening no more. Caleb is the unquestioned leader of this team and in that locker room, and you can see it. And that's why he was the guy that gave Ben Johnson the game ball. It wasn't DJ Moore. It wasn't Montez Sweat. It wasn't any of these vets. It's the quarterback because they know he's the real deal, and he's backing up his words with his actions on the field. And that's a beautiful thing, man. And it will lead to him finding that greatness that you're talking about. Because as everybody's talking about in the chat, Brandon, and this is the main focus of this conversation, to me, it's like 58% completion percentage. He still hasn't even scratched the surface, as Scottish said. And it's like, what's this ceiling look like for this kid? And it is, to me, the ceiling for Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the NFL and one of the greatest to ever play this fucking game, man, at that position with
and
what
it
he can
is,
do and what Ben Johnson can do with him as they continue to grow together.
and it is, but you have to focus on now, here and now, The only reason that you would ever believe that Caleb's ceiling is to be the best quarterback in the NFL, and I believe that to be so too, is because of how good he already is.
Mm-hmm.
He is phenomenal. We can talk about playing 4 quarters of football and throwing a high completion percentage, but the guy's winning football games and he's doing it on the things he's done his whole career. Ben calls the plays and he calls them well, and he's gotten all the players in this team that need to be involved. But Caleb still, at the end of every day, makes the magic happen, man. And that's the stuff he did. That's what you drafted him for. That's what you liked in this kid.
Bro,
And that is what stands out most, no matter how well he plays in structure. If his completion percentage gets to 71, I don't give a fuck. The stuff that he's done since he was at Oklahoma is just mind blowing. You can't even fathom how good it is, because it's Christian Watson on the sideline when Caleb threw the pass was like, what?
he
Like,
was
I
like,
mean,
bro, for real? Like he couldn't
yeah,
believe that
like it's
Caleb made
like,
that throw on
yeah.
4th and 8. That was during
And,
that 4th and 8 throw.
and there
Yeah.
was a Packers fan on a podcast recording himself watch the game, and he just said that's the greatest throw of all time. I mean, it's what this kid is capable of is already good enough, guys. He's already your future starting
Brandon, I
quarterback.
got a I
If
got
the
a
ceiling was never reached,
I
he
got a
already
graphic
is.
here that goes around kind of what we're talking about. And what Jed's saying here, he says, I love how serious Ben Johnson and Caleb are. Meanwhile, Loveland looks like he was just happy to be playing a game with his friends out there. But the seriousness, I wanted to show this because I thought this was funny when I saw it on X. What do you notice about this picture?
He's the only guy not smiling.
Caleb is a stone cold fucking killer. Look at all these guys cheesing like it's fucking school picture day. Caleb Williams is about his fucking business, dude. And that was my first thought when I saw it. It's like, Caleb is the only one that's not playing. Yeah, he just, you ain't gonna get a smile out of me. Caleb is a stone cold fucking killer, bro. That I think that's kind of awesome, and just how that stands out in that picture.
And he is, and he wants to, like, these guys enjoy playing football, man. They're having fun. They're making a lot of money. They're famous, but I think sometimes that, at least in the way you see somebody, it outweighs like the player that's chasing the ultimate goal. And there's never a doubt in my mind that that's all Caleb gives a shit about. You can talk about his numbers. You can talk about he's generational. He was the first overall pick. I don't think any of that shit matters to Caleb Williams. I think he is going to be a player that reminds you of the guys that have done it the best in this league. I really do think so. When I'm watching a guy like him yell at players on the sideline and strictly out of just a longing to do it perfectly, he's not throwing the blame at somebody else on the sideline. He's telling these guys they're good enough to get it right, and that's what they need to do the next time out. And a guy like that, at his age, with the skill set he already came into this league with, on top of being paired with the guy who's coaching him now, Caleb is truthfully chasing greatness. And when I say that, I mean Mahomes, Tom Brady. We can't rule that out, and it is probably a biased conversation, but it is what he was drafted to be. Don't lose sight of that either. That's not something that's coming from me as a Bears fan. He was the first overall pick in the draft, and he was called generational, and he's got the potential to do so, guys. And there was a lot of people midway through this season like, he's good and he could be great, but
He's
generational,
got to clean
nah,
up the completion
that's
percentage.
off the table.
Yeah.
Generational, he's definitely not that. I'm glad I'm not the person that sent those texts. I'm glad I'm not the person that said those things and made those posts, because
Bro,
it's
Caleb had 7 explosive plays in that 4th quarter.
yeah. Didn't PFF say Caleb had the most explosive throws or plays this season, or like
Yeah.
third most, or
Well, the
something like
Bears
that?
had the most explosive plays on offense
No, they
overall,
graded
but a
by
lot of that was
quarterback. I think
run.
Caleb was third.
Yeah, he wasn't number one because they didn't lead the league in offense in explosive pass plays in
Yeah.
general. But I mean, he's just been really good in the 4th quarter. That's the thing about it, man. This offense has been really good in the 4th quarter, and it's just like, this is one thing I wanted to talk about, man, because points per game, including the playoff for the Bears in the 4th quarter. This is from NFL Researcher, 9.6. That's first in the league. Points per drive, 3.5. That's first in the league. Total yards per game in the fourth quarter, 107.4. That's first. Yards per play, 5.9. That's first. Giveaways is 0.2. That's tied for first. Third down conversion rate is 49.3%. That's first. Fourth quarter comebacks, obviously, 7. That's first. And 20-plus yard completions in the fourth quarter, Brandon, 27. That's first in the NFL. So, I mean, like, that's all awesome. And it's great that your offense gets going like that in the fourth quarter, because that's when games are generally decided in the NFL. A lot of these games are usually close. But I feel like in this game, if you end up in the hole that the Bears have found themselves in, Sean McVay ain't going to fuck up his timeouts usage. Sean McVay ain't going to fuck up his clock management to the extent that Matt LaFleur did. And this offense is not going to get stagnant. They will put their foot on your throat and fucking bring the hammer down. They won't stop trying to score points like the Packers kind of did. It seemed like, like they got conservative to start that second half. Sean McVay ain't going to do that, man. So it's like, it's great that you're awesome at all these things in the fourth quarter. You're the best in the league by far. But your offense needs to start doing that earlier in the game, especially against this Rams offense and this head coach, man. You can't fuck around with this team like that. I don't see that. And it's like, you can never say never with this Bears team, because they keep doing it for sure.
Well,
but like, eventually, especially against a team like this, you feel like it's going to run out, man.
Well, I think the reason they keep doing it is because, we focus so much on what the offense and Caleb Williams do to come back in games. But at home, the defense is really what's keeping them around, man. I mean, because like these teams like the Packers in the last week could have just put them away if they had just scored a few more times.
Yeah.
Even 6 points. But the defense at home in the second half of football games, I don't know what those statistics look like, guys, but I assure you it's good. I mean, we've allowed, I think, 19 points at home, or something like 17 points, something like that, 18 points, something like that at home. And the second half is really where this team is held up. In the first half, you can clearly see they're getting burned.
Scottish, I have noticed McVay, and in the playoffs against the Niners, I believe, or it was like a late game kind of deciding seeding. I've seen Sean McVay make blunders with clock management for sure. I have seen it. I know what you're talking about, Scottish. I'm not saying that he doesn't have them, but he is not going to do it to the extent of Matt LaFleur. I don't see that, personally, especially with that offense that is first in the league in points, first in the league in yards per game, first in a lot of major offensive categories in the NFL, man. That's just like, it's not something you want to play around with.
Regardless of his clock management, Sean McVay's not going to blow a lead like that. He's going to keep scoring.
Yes, he's gonna keep trying to find explosive plays.
Sean McVay is a much better coach in a game of chess than Matt LaFleur is. So when Dennis Allen comes out with his second half adjustments, Sean McVay's going to figure that shit out, guys. Sean McVay's probably the best coach in the NFL at this juncture of his career.
Yeah, man. And you talk about those second half adjustments, and it's like, how much has that been working?
Can Dennis Allen figure out Sean McVay versus Matt LaFleur? That's a much different animal.
Well, does it put Dennis Allen,
considering Sean McVay taught Matt LaFleur?
Does it put Dennis Allen at an advantage, Brandon, that he's the one getting his ass kicked in the first half, figuring it out in the second half, and he comes out with those adjustments, and then the other coach just seems to not have enough time to adjust back? It's like,
I very much think that's going to be this
adjust in the moment, in the third quarter when the Rams are going
to put up points in the first half of this game. It's going to happen, and Dennis Allen will do what he does. What I mean, at home, this team, he's especially at home. This second half statistics on this Bears defense at home is probably pretty remarkable. I would imagine their points allowed is very low. You said 9; they score 9.6 on offense. I imagine points allowed is even less than that. It's got to be what it is, because the Bears have the highest. So yeah, it's probably like 6. That's my guess. So
yeah, I mean, the Bears go from allowing 24.5 points per game to 18.7 just at home, just in general, in terms of overall stats. So clearly they're doing good work in the fourth quarter, like in the second half in general, because 7 comeback wins, the defense has played a part in that. The defense was huge in that game on Saturday in terms of getting the ball back to the offense quickly, getting off the field, forcing punts. They did a damn good job at that. They weren't turning the ball over, but they were still getting the Packers to give the ball back to that offense for Caleb to do what he did.
Yeah, and they kept even the field goal stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep,
They weren't
yep, yep.
conceding
In terms
anything in
of
the second
yeah,
half.
yeah,
There was a couple
yeah.
of plays where I thought LaFleur could have just gotten closer to a field goal. And Dennis Allen had him, man. He had his number. And Dennis Allen is a very good, obviously, I didn't know this about, I didn't watch the Saints up close and personal. Dennis Allen is clearly one of those halftime adjustment coaches. And you'd like to see better first half, but do I believe that he'll have an advantage over McVay, as you say, without time to prepare for whatever it is that Dennis Allen's going to do differently? I do. I think at especially I think at home, man. I think that defense is going to come out in the second half and stand on their head.
I hope so. That was the best part of that game to me, is how well that defense played in the second half. And you just hope that they can play that way for a full 4 quarters. The same we're talking about the offense, man. And like there's going to be bumps in the road. And I love this Bears team ability to hang
And
in
this
there
Rams team
and
scores
find
on
ways.
everybody. So
Yeah, man.
you don't got to be a good defense to get scored on by this Rams team.
Listen, I want to shout out the chat real quick. J2K, Scottish Bear coming on hot with a lot of good comments. Vizzo, Shy Tex, Foster, Shorty was in here, Jed. Guys, John S., True Pilgrim, y'all are awesome. Please hit that like button if you have not already. Keep the comments coming. J2K says Rams struggle versus wide zone run game. Their linebackers are terrible in coverage. Yes, they are. Loveland and Swift will be the heart of this game. Yes, they will. That was the story last week. That's what me and Brandon called out, and I feel the same way this week. Swift and Loveland, huge in this game, and I won't discredit None guy in that either. None guy is going to be a big part of this game too. I think the run is where you got to take advantage. Now the Rams have been good against the run too. The Rams defense, I mean, recently they've kind of fallen apart, but if you look at the season average, like they started out really hot against the pass. They're pretty damn good against the run. They're a solid defense, man, and that defensive line is really fucking good, man. Really good. We were talking about Dennis Allen. I want to get to that, but we were talking about Dennis Allen, and I had this thought, man, because I was watching Ben Johnson's press conference, and he made the point that when he took over as the offensive coordinator for Jared Goff came to Detroit, Ben Johnson took over as offensive coordinator. He had to do a lot of things to make Goff comfortable. And one of the things that he did was implement a lot of what McVay did in his offense for Jared Goff to make him comfortable. So obviously, in order to do that, Ben Johnson had to do a pretty deep dive into what that Rams offense does and what Sean McVay's tendencies are and the tenets of his offense to kind of implement those things into his own offense. So here, the thought I had around that was, is there a schematical advantage that Ben Johnson can help Dennis Allen with, having a pretty solid understanding of that Rams offense and Sean McVay's play calling, based on the fact that he utilized a lot of that to kind of bring into his offense in Detroit to help, get Goff comfortable when he was first starting out with him. Does that make sense?
I'm sure there is, but I wouldn't hesitate to say that Ben Johnson probably helps Dennis Allen with every game plan. Ben Johnson knows a lot about offense. He probably watches every team. And he probably tells Dennis Allen, these are the trends, these are the traits, these are what these guys do when they line up in these formations. I mean, I would imagine that Ben Johnson has a lot to say about every team they play when it comes to the sharing the room with Dennis Allen. You know what I mean?
I hope in particular in this game that he's in Dennis Allen's ear about what their tendencies are and what the defense needs to do to combat that. What he wouldn't want a defense to do against his offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. I think Ben Johnson has a little more hands on the defense than people probably think he does, man. I'll bet you. A lot of people just assume like Dennis just does the defense and Ben just stays out of it. Like, I don't see Ben Johnson being that kind of guy.
I mean, as he's developing as a head coach and taking on and handling all these responsibilities, I think, he's going to be able to step into that role more so. But he probably is in this season, as he's just getting better as the season goes on and getting better at managing the day-to-day stuff. But I mean, he obviously has conversations with Dennis Allen every week in terms of what their game plan is. I just really hope that Ben Johnson has a say in what this defensive game plan should be based on the fact that I think he has a very good understanding of that Rams offense, and I think Dennis Allen has been beaten pretty handily by Sean McVay throughout his career. I think Sean McVay is 6-1 against Dennis Allen defenses, man. I'm pretty sure that's the stat. That's kind of scary.
That's good to know.
What's up, Michael? How you doing, man? Good to see you. It's been a while.
It's frightening. What's up, Michael?
J2K says DA's defense is press man, and he's running 44% cover one. I know everyone hates him playing man. That's what his defense is. He just doesn't have the horses. Now he's getting some of them horses back. You got Kyler Gordon on another week, another healthy week. You know, that's going to make a difference. Jalen Johnson should be getting healthier as this time goes on too. And you're adding CJ Gardner-Johnson back to that. You got Tyreek Stevenson more involved last week. I think Brisker's been a lot better than people give him credit for. I'll keep saying that. I like what Brisker has done. Kevin Byard. I mean, in terms of those cornerbacks, you know, you got Nashawn Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and CJ Gardner-Johnson involved in this. You can be very versatile and really throw a lot of different looks and confusing stuff at a quarterback that's really good at dissecting defenses.
Kyler Gordon,
but I think that's going to be an advantage for the Bears, man. The fact that CJ Gardner-Johnson is now healthy alongside of Kyler Gordon, where you can really throw some different things at an offense, because both those guys can blitz really well. Both those guys play the run really well. And when they're healthy, they can cover pretty damn well. I mean, more so probably in zone than man. You saw Kyler Gordon get burned a lot last week, but I don't know how much of that is health, you know.
Or just getting his legs. Maybe he is healthy. He's just not, you know, the speed of the NFL is a lot different than practice, man. But I think
Carolina
Gordon,
didn't beat the Rams.
I think Kyler Gordon in the second half of that game made a major impact. I think Kyler Gordon alone will make an impact in this Rams game. You'll see Kyler Gordon make plays.
What's up, the real talk?
That's what Kyler Gordon does. The real thing, we do this every week, and we can do it again. I don't see the point.
Before we do it, I've never seen the real talk throw in a comment in the bare minimum before, so I'm going to do this real quick.
What's up, the real talk? I think me and him had shared comments on Facebook earlier. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Can this team apply pressure to a quarterback that can torch even the best of defenses does? It's really, we do this every week, and they can't. it's like, why even ask? They probably won't get much pressure.
Well, listen, the thing is, in that second half, that was a completely different defensive line than what we've seen for most of this year. That gave me a little bit of hope. It did, and I don't know if it's false hope. It probably is based on the sample size, but the stunts on the defensive line really started working. They started getting pressure with 4-man. Austin Booker was fucking phenomenal. Montez Sweat was phenomenal. If those guys play like that, Brandon, for a consistent part of this game on Sunday, I like our chances to get at Matt Stafford. He's really good at maneuvering the pocket. He gets rid of the ball super fast. He dissects a defense like that. So, like, it's easier said than done. But obviously, the way to impact any quarterback is to be in a solid coverage and get pressure with just the 4 men up front. Can this defensive line replicate what they did in that second half against Jordan Love and the Packers? I don't know. That offensive line for the Rams is really fucking good, man. It's really good.
I mean, if you do, you will, because
they did, J2K, but they won in the playoffs.
I mean, the one thing about Stafford that you can't say is he's not going anywhere. Stafford's a statue.
Well, I mean, he's got enough maneuverability. I'll say that, and he's just really savvy. He's really smart with how he gets rid of the ball, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes when he does. He's really good against the blitz. He's another quarterback that's really good against the blitz. So I am wary of blitzing this man. I want a 4-man rush, like J2K points out. You're back in coverage, 4-man rush, and just try to win the game that way. I wouldn't take a lot of chances against Matt Stafford, because you're going to get burned. You're going to get fucking burned, as far as I'm concerned. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he has great performance against the blitz.
They're going to get burned regardless, but just like you said, man, the difference in that second half for the Bears defense was just getting the team off. It wasn't taking the ball away. It was just getting the team off the field.
J2K.
Just getting the Packers offense off the field. And I would imagine that was Ben's approach all week, and it should be again. We want to control time of possession, and we want to keep this Rams offense off the field. This team's not capable of 3 and outs. I think maybe they had 2 in that game against the Packers. This Bears defense, they're not good at it.
Well, no, they started the second half with three and out straight, Brandon.
Oh, was it 3? I don't think they had any in the first. They didn't.
No, they did not. Speaking of this Rams defensive line, man, Byron Young, these were the pressure leaders from the first round of the playoffs. Byron Young was number 1 at 9. Montez Sweat was number 2 at 7. But then you look at Jared Verse, tied for 2 at 7. And Kobe Turner at 6, right behind those guys. 3 of their 4 starting down linemen led the or are in the tops of the league in terms of pressures in the playoffs. This defensive line is scary, Brandon. It's scary good. It really is. And if this I think that's the key to the game.
I think our offensive line is better than their defensive line.
Well, this is what I was about to get into. This is strength versus strength for this game. Our offensive line is maybe the best in the NFL. PFF has them ranked 3rd. They also have the Rams rated 4th on their final PFF offensive line ranking. So the Rams offensive line is really fucking good too.
I think the Bears are the only team with 2 All-Pros.
Oh, okay, and that's great. And they're missing Ozzie Trapillo, and now you're adding a new element. And now you're adding a new element at left tackle in Theo Benedette. How much does that impact that strength of this team? I don't know. I hope not much. I don't think much, but you just don't know until the game is played. But I think this is the key to the game, Brandon. And I mean, J2K says the D-line wins, we win. Well, and I believe that. But I think if our offensive line wins, we win. If we can run that zone, the wide zone stuff you're talking about, if we can get these running backs to be able to find lanes by building those walls and those zone blocking schemes, if you can push these guys off the ball, and if you can keep them from getting pressure on Caleb Williams, you can move the ball on offense and move it really well against a secondary that's been giving up a lot of yards in the passing game. But if you allow them to get pressure like that, you're going to fuck up the day really badly. I don't think they will either, Brandon, but this is going to be a key matchup in this game, the key matchup in this game, our offensive line versus their defensive line, because those are 2 really tough units, and you just got to out-violent them. You got to be the bigger dude on the block in this game, and it's really just going to come down to that aggression and violence and kicking their ass, man. I really think so. If they get the pressure, Caleb can evade it. We know that. But that amount of pressures in one game, that's kind of scary from one defensive line.
Yeah, and it took them an entire half the same as the rest of the team and the offensive line last week. But I do believe this offensive line is.
So you think that's a win for the Bears, this offensive line versus their defensive line?
I thought when they played that Giants team that did wreck people all year, man, they did. I mean, that between Thibodeau and Burns, they were just, especially early in the season, they were lighting everybody up. But I just don't see a unit. Even Myles Garrett and Mason Graham, I don't see a unit in the NFL that's going to really bully these guys, man. I mean, sure, they're going to get some pressures, of course, every team will, but the offensive line to me is better than any defense. I said this before the playoffs weeks ago. This offensive line is better than any defensive line in the NFL.
And I think that'll play out in this game.
Drew Dalman could have very well been an all-pro player, man. I really do. Like I was unsure of Drew Dalman when the Bears made that signing. I know that he was ranked high. I just didn't get to watch him play. In the second half of this season, he has been just havoc. I've texted you guys probably like at least once a game for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Drew Dalman is an animal. He's just a bully. And whenever, for whatever reason, he doesn't have somebody to block directly, he just goes and puts somebody down that a tackle is trying to block. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. So, and
Dalman's been awesome. The snaps were a little rough.
He's a Pro Bowler, and he's the only player on the Bears to play every snap. But yeah, I think
the snaps were rough last week for Dalman. That's the one thing that needs to be better this week for sure.
Yeah,
they've been over the last couple of weeks, really.
But I think this, and then I thought Joe Jackson had a season worth of Pro Bowl too. But this offensive line is just better than whoever's across from them.
I'm going to comment on that 1 second. I do want to say that I'm in agreement with J2K. Grady Jarrett's been a lot better. Not just the last 4 weeks, man. Even leading before that, he was getting better. You could see it every week. And Brandon pointed that out early on about 2 months ago. Like you could see him starting to come into form, and it's just getting better every week. And I gotta agree with J2K. He's been he was hugely important to stopping that run against the Packers. If you go back and watch that game, he was in on every run stuff. Him and DeMarco Jackson. Those were the two guys that keyed that defense to stopping the run in the second half against the Packers, and that really limited what they did.
I'll credit both of us, Dustin, because I'd say that Joe Thuney and Grady Jarrett have become exactly what we all off season. We and you on this show preached.
If they didn't play a snap, they would have made a positive impact on this team.
Yeah.
Period.
These guys were here. These guys were here for this, to be honest, Dustin. How much does it matter now? Oh, we never even talked about this. I'm glad we brought this up. How much does it matter now to have Joe Thuney and Grady Jarrett?
He did, Foster. He did let up that pressure right in Caleb's face, right up the gut on that interception on the fourth down.
Think about that.
Sorry, ask it.
How much does it matter now to have two guys like that?
I mean, it's hugely important. I mean, and you talk about two guys that
have been to Super Bowls.
Two guys that were in a Super Bowl that really kind of played a role in how the Bears flipped their mindset in that last game. You know, Ben Johnson in the offseason has those two talk to the team about the 28-3 comeback and being on either side of it. And then they reference back to it at halftime.
Yeah, the luxury that is that
21-3. Like that's unquantifiable in terms of the confidence it can give a team having two leaders that have been in those situations, high pressure situations on either side of it. You know, it's crazy to think about. Oh yeah, sorry, J2K, you're the one that said that. Dahlman did let that he let that pressure up right up the middle on that fourth and one when Caleb threw the interception. He 100% did.
Yeah, and you know these guys every player that we name, guys, every player on that line, you're gonna be able to say like, oh, he's the one that did. Like, of course, but as a unit and as I think it's important to know this, guys. I believe I have to go. I don't have PFF, but in regards to statistics, pressures allowed. Every player on this offensive line, I believe, has had a better season than they did the year prior.
And that's part of it being a unit, a strong unit. But that's what becomes the concern when you take out Ozzie Trapillo in a moment's notice and replace him with Theo Benedict.
But two of these players had multiple games with zero pressures allowed. That's very uncommon.
No, for sure. And they, again, and I think you've seen Thuney step up for Ozzie Trapillo and step up for Dahlman when they might be having a tougher game. And that really builds that camaraderie and builds that cohesion as a unit. But my concern, Brandon, I'm just going to say it again because it needs to be said, the unit is different now. We saw the best version of this Bears offensive line coming to form with Ozzie Trapillo at left tackle.
I agree.
And now you're replacing him with Theo Benedict, who we saw perform pretty well. But this is 1 week of preparation and now it's a different offensive line than the one we've been seeing. And you're going against some really bad dudes on the.
I think you're overlooking something here, man.
Tell me what I'm overlooking.
The Bears might be the only team in the NFL that's going to plug in a left tackle that started a fucking week ago and started like 5 games this year.
He didn't start a week ago, but he played.
I get. Well, what was it? 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks.
No, ago. Yes.
So like, I get it, but the cohesion should still exist. Considering.
I said on Monday's show, and I still feel this way. The drop off from Ozzie to Theo,
the talent for sure.
The drop off from Ozzie to Theo is not huge. It's not huge. It would be much bigger from Darnell Wright to Theo. Much bigger.
Or from him to Braxton.
Or from Joe Thuney to Luke Newman. This is the best possible scenario.
Or from Trapillo to Braxton Jones.
Yeah, 100%.
If Theo Benedict gets injured, then you're in trouble.
But the reality is that all of those guys have started this year. All I'm saying is that this team, this offensive line that you've been riding with and getting like to your best form is now changing. I do agree that the fact that Theo started with these guys and developed that camaraderie and performed pretty admirably,
it's seldom to have well. That.
And it's a benefit in this situation, and it's honestly, it became a blessing in disguise that the rotation at left tackle happened the way it did this season, which we expected, which Ben was telling us all offseason, within so many words. But it's kind of a blessing in disguise that happened because you do have that benefit now.
Which we
of
talked about.
the left tackle
The
you're
benefit of
plugging in.
competition is these guys are ready to go, man.
The left tackle you're plugging in should step right up and be able to fit back into the way he was playing, and hopefully better in this game than as he was when he was starting for this team. So it's concerning, but it's not overly concerning. But it is something to think about. Like I said, Jared Verse is a fucking animal, dude. I don't know. This whole team this whole defensive line is scary to me.
It's good to know that he's playing next to a player that's as aware as Joe Thuney is. Like, Joe Thuney will know when this guy needs help.
This is a very good point by Scottish. Theo Benedict was always much better in the run blocking game than the pass blocking game. And when it was pass blocking, he had to hold up on an island by himself. He got bull rushed. He got beat outside on the edge. He was always letting up pressure on Caleb.
I was texting
you have to commit to the run in this game, Ben Johnson. You have
I'm going to be honest,
very
guys.
Good point, Scottish.
I was texting on one of Benedict's last starts after Trapillo had come in. I don't know if you guys remember this. Trapillo had played right tackle for Darnell Wright.
The Raiders game.
Right tackle.
This and then the Raiders game.
Then he had moved to left tackle after Benedict was injured. And then for Benedict's, I think, final start, I texted you guys, I am fucking done with this guy. Get this guy the fuck off the field.
Well, now he's your starting left tackle.
That's what I'm saying. Put Trapillo on the field now. I don't care what Trapillo is. It can't be worse. So, yes, it is a concern that the player's talent is just not the same. It's not. This guy can't handle. Trapillo was getting pretty damn good against
the physical ability is
good
just not
edge
even
rushers.
Close.
Yeah,
the physical ability.
And Benedict will just where you saw Trapillo was like, you're like, okay, this. I texted you guys. This guy's going to be the real deal. This is a real left tackle in the NFL. And I told you too. He struggles. He's not that yet. But he's going to fucking be.
But he's got like natural power, strength, great hands.
Yes,
he's long,
and he was beating
can lean back on physical ability.
Pass rushers. He was beating good pass rushers, and where Benedict was like kind of smoking the lesser talented guys. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, Benedict looks okay. Early in his starts, you were like, man, he looks pretty good, and he was playing nobody. And then he met like a Max Crosby, and it was like, oh dear Lord. This guy is trash. I mean, like when he played a quality edge rusher, he got destroyed.
You're gonna need to send.
My problem with him was, man, is I was like, Caleb's gonna get murdered. This guy is.
You're gonna need to send a lot of help for Theo, and that's the thing with Ozzie. You were giving him help when he first starting, and that was slowly kind of pulled away. And as
the tight ends were not as on the line as much in line.
J2K is pointing out, and that's a huge advantage when you have Colston Loveland. But as J2K is pointing out, like Ozzie stopped needing that help.
You're going to see a lot now for sure, right?
Durham Smythe.
And he does a pretty damn good job what he's asked to do, but it does take one of these other guys off the field unless you're in your 13.
Or you're going to go straight 13 and take advantage of that.
Who's doing that on a majority of their plays? Nobody.
I mean, if any team has the ability to do it, Brandon, it's the Bears, because you saw what they did on that 2-point conversion. They lined up in that personnel and then split it out wide. They were able to be
fool everybody
somewhat explosive. It's not about fooling though, but at the end of the day, like,
it is because
if you bring that person. Well, Brandon, if you bring that personnel out, the Rams got to bring out a personnel that matches up with it. That's what got the Packers on that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, but they'll take the chance. They'll take a chance eventually, Dustin, on not defending the run. You're bringing in that heavy package defensively because you think their 13-man presents the fact that they're running the ball. Eventually, if
they take a chance that we're not going to run, then you run. Then you fucking run.
Yes, but
that's an advantage.
You have a much better chance in a small package of stopping a running back than you do in a big package stopping Colston Loveland. So you take the odds, dude.
It still puts you in a blender. It puts you in a blender regardless.
It does, and I think you're going to see some 13-man. I just don't. I'm going to listen, man. My honest opinion, it's not going to become like the staple of this offense. I don't know if that's what you're insinuating. It is something that this offense presents that nobody else in the league has. It's an element we have, but I think the beauty of it is it can be used effectively yet seldomly. You know what I mean? The 12-man thing all day. Ben Johnson does it all day. The whole fucking game for Ben Johnson is 12-man personnel.
You're going to need the tight ends to help block on the edges against these edge rushers. That's all I know. So however you do that,
not Darnell Wright so
that's
much.
Fine.
But
I mean, and listen, if you bring out an extra tackle, whatever if you put Braxton Jones out there as well next next to fucking Theo Benedict, like so be it.
Well, I
Like
think you'd probably
I
be
think
better.
the
You
key to
should
this
just
game
throw
is going to be
somebody
keeping
inside.
Jared Verse off of Caleb Williams in terms of your offensive line, and they're going to try to get mismatches on Theo Benedict all day, dude, all fucking day.
And you could possibly slide somebody inside, like Luke Newman could play guard and Joe Tooney could play tackle. Benedict's then your swing. I mean, you can do a lot of. You could do if you want to if you really
I
want
don't
to
know if you want to get that get too cute, but I
if
hear
you
what you're
really want to
saying.
make sure Benedict's not left on an island. There's a lot of things the Bears could do. The chip's not going to work against these guys. A tight end chipping at the line is not going to stop
It'll
Jared
help.
Verse
It'll
from
help.
getting to your
You're going to
quarterback.
see a lot of that from Colston. You're going to see a lot of that from Cole Kmet in this game. If they're
No,
running just the
just I
two
would
tight ends, yeah.
keep those guys healthy, man.
Yeah. Listen, and Scottish points out here, like long term for the Ozzy thing, it's devastating. We don't have a lot of time to think about it right now because you're turning around and you're playing another game here and you're trying to move on in the playoffs. But like Ozzy ain't gonna be back next season, most likely. If he is, it's gonna be late in the season. It's like he was performing so well and getting so much better. And how much does that hurt your team building and development going forward in terms of this offensive line and
Yeah,
this offense?
that injury was devastating.
That's
It was devastating
that's the word that
because
Scottish is using here,
because
and I agree with it.
the
I haven't
future
given myself, yeah. The future is it's concerning with the left tackle because now you're gonna have to make moves to address that
now
potentially.
you have
On
to now yes now you have to you're kind of in the boat, dude. Now you kind of got of it. You can't just address it on some fucking low budget level. You know what I mean? You've
Yep,
got to get somebody that counts, man.
and you can
So
talk about a 6 to 8 month timeline, but how does he come back after that 8 months? You know, is he ready to play? Is he back to the form that he was in when he got hurt?
was
Those are
was was
the
he
things that are concerning to me. And I
well
haven't given myself much time to think about it, but like, yes, for future,
well
in terms of the future, it's a very concerning injury for the Chicago Bears team,
when a guy's so
and in this game.
too. Another thing you have to worry about, man, with a rookie is does he gotta does he gotta do it all over again? He's got to start from square one and progress all over again over the course of 6 weeks or whatever it
Yeah,
was that it took him to get
that's
here. You know what I
contingent on his
mean?
health, and that's contingent
Yeah.
on his health. So like,
So it's a
it's not a
problem.
fun thing to think
It's a
about.
problem.
So
It's a
I don't
problem
want
for
to
the
think about it
Bears,
too
and
much
they're going
right
to have
now.
to address it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and they got to address it on a short notice here. I mean, they get the extra day this week. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I think this offensive line will hold up. And honestly, I've always said, and I'll continue to say, even when it doesn't hold up, Caleb is going to make mincemeat of defenders trying to sack him. He still will. But you just worry about that one time he doesn't see it coming and what that play turns into. Does it turn into a Caleb injury? Does it turn into a turnover, a strip sack? Like this Bears offensive line needs to be on its game 100%. And I think they can be, and I think they will be. But one bad play from Theo Benedict can change this fucking game, Brandon. So you got to give him a lot of help throughout the game, which you just wonder how much that hinders your downfield passing, which you've been
Well,
doing
and we
so
can't
well.
understate because you just talked about Drew Dolman's snaps last week. The line was bad in the first half of that football game, top to bottom.
They couldn't get the run going.
It wasn't a Ozzie
Ozzy was
Javille
letting up a
problem.
lot. Ozzy was letting up the
It was
most
a
pressure
line
on
problem.
that offensive line,
I
guys.
texted you guys in the first half of the game. This line looks like shit, and they did. They looked like shit, and Caleb was immediately tucking the ball. It was just like, man, Caleb has looked his best this season, guys. He's making these miraculous throws when he's on the move, but he has looked his best in the pocket. You gotta try to keep him there. That's where he's just torched people. You gotta try to keep him in there. You gotta try to give him a pocket.
I don't necessarily. I mean, I'm good with Caleb throwing it from anywhere. To be honest, and I think obviously he presents a much bigger
Well,
advantage
yeah,
for the
but
offense when he's moving
yeah, but
outside the pocket.
I don't like.
Personally,
Listen, the so I guess there's a conversation we've been having all year, man. Is like, of course, Caleb's. That's the thing that Caleb's done best his whole career. The thing that he's done at Oklahoma, that just the shit that he creates, where receivers start to. He's now eyeing receivers into positions, throwing them open. We saw last week. Ben Johnson probably wants as little of that as possible because if Caleb can remain in the pocket like he did against the Packers when he made it throw in overtime, That's you want Caleb to just make
or
the throw
the
that's
last throw that
supposed
he or the last throw he
make
made in that Packers game on
make
Saturday.
make the throw that's supposed that the play is designed to be. Like that's because Ben's good at that. That's Ben's specialty. Caleb's specialty is the creative stuff. Ben's specialty is the play design and the way it's supposed to
Yeah,
work in
and when you
structure. So
can
like
lean on
you,
the Caleb
yeah,
stuff, when the Ben stuff breaks down, that's when it's at its
yeah,
best. Yes.
but you want the Ben stuff to be what you're leaning on. You know what I mean? So I want to see Caleb remain in a pocket in this football game. Man. I don't. It's like when he early in that Packers game, man, when he was taking the snap and then running right away, I was like, oh shit, like this is a problem. Like because it never when it's consistently like that for Caleb, it leads to turnover on downs, leads to not moving the chains. You know
Brandon,
what I mean?
speaking of moving the chains, and we talked about it this week, and that one run that Caleb had in that Packers game that really got the offense ignited. I think
The
Caleb's
offensive
gonna.
line on that play
I think
was
Caleb's.
tremendous.
I think Caleb's gonna have to run for some big plays in this game against that defensive line. I think we're gonna see Caleb take off, get some first downs with his legs in this game. I think his speed's gonna really show in this game, and I think it's gonna be necessary in order to win it. I really do. I think Caleb's gonna have to take off a few times in this game and make some big plays with his legs, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, are you talking in regards to pressure or in regards to coverage?
Both potentially, but I mean the pressure is the main thing I think about. That he's going to have to
So you
make
think this
plays
offensive
out of
line
nothing.
is gonna not gonna hold
I think
up?
as well, even if they play the best game they can play, you're still going to see pressure because this defensive line is that good at generating it. I think Caleb is going to have to create some
I
plays out
think
of nothing
Caleb should
and make
run
them with his feet.
regardless, Dustin.
Yes, he's and I don't want it to be design runs. I want it to be a dual threat opportunity where he could still pass. I just think that presents the advantage of this game in terms of our quarterback can do this and your quarterback cannot, and that will be the difference offensively in this game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we want to see Caleb remain healthy. He's got to be smart about it. But I always think that Caleb's running abilities is something that Ben should utilize. There's games where he gets entirely away from it.
Caleb don't
And I
take
don't
hits
mean
when
that
he
I
runs,
don't think
Brandon.
that he designs it, man. I mean, he should encourage Caleb to do it, but I'm sure he's not because it's his quarterback and he wants to keep him healthy. But
Caleb is really smart
listen, we've
about
talked
not
about
taking
this.
hits
We've talked
when he
about this so
runs.
many times, man. A quarterback that can do that is always better than one that cannot.
Yeah, defenses
just
stay up all night thinking about that shit.
you can't.
Yeah.
What the reason that Jaden Daniels had the rookie season that he had is
Because of his
at
threat to
any
run.
moment,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even that he was good at it and he did it a lot. It was that you had to respect it and keep honest the entire game. You know what I mean? The defense had to remain honest always because Jaden could do it at any moment that he wanted to. So the thought of it, that's what's huge, man, is like if Caleb can do that just a few times early in the game against the Rams, just the idea, like, oh shit, this guy's gonna get some first downs if we leave him alone. You know, if we drop everybody into coverage, it creates a problem. So if Caleb can even just pose
Yeah, you
that
can't
threat
account for that. You can't
mentally,
account for the quarterback.
yeah.
You can
So
have the great coverage, you can get the pressure, and
he
Caleb can
is
still beat you.
he
Yes.
is one of the fastest players in one of the well, he's definitely one of the fastest quarterbacks in the NFL. He's been clocked over 20 miles per hour multiple times. So once he does get going, you have to concern yourself with it for sure. He's not like I don't look at Caleb as a running quarterback, but I look at him as an effective runner for sure. I don't
Do
know
you
if that
think
makes
weather
sense.
plays a factor in this game? It's being talked about a lot.
Yes, of course. This team's from LA, guys. No matter where they grew up, they've lived. You know what I mean? Stanford doesn't want to play. Listen, they're human beings. It doesn't matter what you do. Does anybody work outside? Okay. You do it every day
I
of your
have.
life.
Yeah, it
Yes, I
sucks.
have too. You do it every day of your life, and it sucks just the same the next day. It
But you get
sucks.
used to it. Yeah, you get used to it.
The guys who don't do it at all ever really don't want to fucking do it. Like so, If you ask Matt Stafford, hey, can you do if you could make the weather 55 degrees, no wind tomorrow with sun, would you? He'd say absolutely. If you ask Caleb that question, he'd say fuck no. You know what I mean? Like
Caleb has the
it's
advantage throwing
yeah.
in that kind of weather, 100%. Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, I think the weather's going to play a factor, and I think it's the same thing as guys, and we talk about cold weather a lot as an advantage for football teams. When you go play in Tampa and you're from the Midwest and you play in summer in Tampa Bay, you're not loving it. You know what I mean, Dustin?
Yeah,
You
yeah, the
see these
heat will
guys
get to you too.
gassed
Yeah,
standing in
yeah.
front of fans on the sideline. Yeah,
Oxygen
like
masks. Yeah.
it's they're human beings. Shitty weather sucks.
And Stafford has
So of course,
the
of
finger
course,
injury.
of
Stafford has
course,
the
it's gonna
finger
be
injury. You hit that thing in 7-degree weather, he's gonna feel it a little more than he would
and I texted
in
you
60-degree
when
weather.
when I read that Ben had turned the heaters off at practice. I said I knew we were going to read something like this. Like I knew Ben was going to make them endure something in some way because that's just Ben Johnson, which is awesome. That we kind of that's how I look at him now. But I was at the only reason I even thought about what Ben Johnson would do to prepare these guys for the cold is because I was thinking, they fly out here Friday. What the fuck does Sean McVay do? You
They're
can't.
flying out Saturday.
Oh, are they?
Saturday.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so I
Saturday.
googled when does a team. It said typically Friday or Saturday is what it said. But okay, so they're flying Saturday.
Yeah, that wind chill
So think about
off
this,
the
guys.
lake.
They're practicing in climate controlled conditions, and the Bears are practicing right now. It was like 19 degrees this afternoon. I mean, the Bears have been in
I mean, the
it
Bears should
for
be more accustomed to it. That's the whole
yeah.
point of the bear weather thing. How much of an impact does it make on this Rams offense? I don't know. I think they're still going to be able to move the ball, man. I really do. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game on both sides of the ball. I don't see the conditions affecting these offenses so much. I am hopeful that the
I think it
injury to the
affects the
finger
Rams.
affects Matthew Stafford. I'm hopeful of that, and I hope the weather plays a factor in that as well. You look at Matthew Stafford, he's 5-7 at Soldier Field in his career, 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Like he hasn't played an
It's pretty
80 passer
average.
rating. He hasn't played his best football at Soldier Field just
Pretty
in
average.
general.
Yeah.
Now he's been on some pretty average to shitty teams with the Lions when he's played those games at Soldier Field. This Rams team is a little different. And this Rams team did go to Philly last year and give them all they had in some really bad weather. They were the only team that even took Philly down to it. The only team that gave the Philly a game last year in the playoffs. So it's not like they can't perform in this weather. I'm not going to suggest that that's the end all be all of this game, but I am going to say that it is advantage Bears. That's the whole point of home field advantage. So I do think it has an effect in some regards. The biggest regard, Brandon, might be kicking field goals. We really did not give Cairo Santos enough credit, especially when Jake Moody was here. Cairo Santos kicking in these conditions at Soldier Field has become a huge advantage for the Chicago Bears. You saw it play out on Saturday. I think you see something like that on Sunday as well, where Cairo is good on these field goals and the Rams kicker not so much.
Which one was it? It wasn't the Packers game. There was a game earlier this season, man, when they actually showed the behind the view of like the kick and replay and fouled the ball. He kicks it like in a direction in which you would think like that's going in the fucking crowd, and like the wind just blows it like 7 yards back, or more than second. That's what it looks
That
like.
was a home
But it's like
game.
15 yards back in the other direction. It's just like, man, this like the grass thing, he takes that shit seriously.
Was that against the Packers the first time?
It
December
might have
20th?
been a Packers
Yeah.
game. I just know it
I'm
wasn't
pretty sure it
last
was
week.
December. It was December 20th.
Yeah. If not that,
Yeah.
it was the Browns game. It was definitely a home game. But yeah, he knows what he's doing when it comes to the shit conditions that
Harrison
Chicago
Mevis.
provides.
Harrison Mevis is the Rams kicker. Never. I don't
Mevis?
follow kicker. Mevis. I don't know. Harrison Mevis. That's the Rams kicker. He's going to miss a kick on Sunday, and Cairo's going to make his. I think that's a big difference in this game.
He's going to miss a kick.
He's going to miss a kick in this game. That Soldier Field wind, the wind chill, it's gonna, and the way the foot hits the ball when it's that cold. Cairo Santos has something that these other guys don't have, and that's why the Bears held on to him and moved on from Moody. That is why, and it's paying off big time. We questioned that when it happened, Brandon. We were very wrong.
And
Cairo
knock on
Santos
some wood.
was the
Let's
guy.
hope Mevis doesn't win the fucking game.
I mean, he's got as good a chance as anybody except for Cairo Santos. Haven't seen someone with the win like that since Robbie Gold. Yeah, in terms of how Cairo is handling that, I agree 100%. Panthers for the season scored 18 points a game on offense. They put up over 30 twice and beat them once. Yeah, I mean, the Panthers showed that this passing defense of the Rams can be exploited. The Bears have a much better quarterback. The Bears have much better weapons than the Panthers. The Bears should attack this passing game. The key is going to be keeping Caleb upright. And I mean, Caleb's going to have a role in that. Like I said, he's going to have to take off. He's going to have to make people miss because his offensive line ain't going to be able to hold up every time because this pass rush is really fucking good. But if they can give Caleb time in that pocket, you can exploit this pass defense. It was top 5 in the league, Brandon, until like week 12. And then since then, they've been bottom 5 in terms of pass defense. They just completely flipped on a dime. You can take advantage of this Rams pass defense.
Yeah, and I do want to just, like, for a brief minute here, man, that injury, I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it's going to be on Sunday. It did impact Matt Stafford in that Panthers game. It did. And if Bryce Young was...
Brandon, I'll be right back.
If Bryce Young was any better than he was, we would be playing the Panthers would be coming to Chicago right now, which I would feel a lot better about. But I thought, guys, I watched that Rams game, and I thought after his finger had contacted the helmet, I thought some of his throws were coming out kind of flat. He underthrew 2. He shorted 1. He threw a pass that kind of looked like it could have been picked off. I mean, he did throw the touchdown that won the game at the end of it, but and Stafford's a tough guy. He finished the game as a rookie with a dislocated shoulder, and he won it. But that hand looked affected to me. And regardless of whether or not Stafford can play through something, doesn't necessarily mean that it hasn't been affected by the injury. So I don't know. I said this on Monday, and that's not something that I'm like rooting for Matt Stafford. I could see Matt Stafford leaving this game. It's not like a prediction. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me at all. But that hand was definitely affected in that game against Carolina. He threw a couple. There was a screen pass or an out route or something that he just ducked. I mean, it just kind of fell to the ground. And I had actually texted Dustin, this hand is fucking with Stafford right now. With no dog in the fight. I didn't really care who won that game. I think the Bears are going to beat whoever is coming to Chicago. But I don't know what's going on with Dustin here, I guess. But I think that the weather is definitely going to play a factor against that Rams team. And I agree with Dustin that, Stafford.
LA's backup is Stetson Bennett.
I agree that yeah, I was just talking about Dustin. I think there's a possibility Stafford could not finish this football game. The hand thing to me looked like it affected him last week. And then you just, like, at some point, this guy, man, I mean, we're talking about 18 games of football now. At some point,
I don't know. I think Stafford will finish the game. I think I don't listen.
I think he will.
Even if that finger's affecting him,
wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. If Austin Booker hits Matt Stafford the way he hit Jordan Love, it's over. For sure.
Brandon, I gotta tell you, man, my baby is awake, which sucks because my wife works at like 4:30 in the morning.
All right, let's hang it up.
I want to wrap this thing up. There was so much more to talk about. The chat has been awesome. You guys have been great, but like duty calls, daddy. I gotta go be a daddy. But like I'm always a daddy. But like this has been an awesome show. You guys have been great. Hopefully you hit that like. Hopefully if you weren't subscribed, you are because you've enjoyed what we're doing here. We're gonna be back on Sunday for a pregame kickoff show. We're here every Monday. We're here on Wednesdays for the Barely There with Sean, Kyle, and Jay. And me and Brandon are always here. It's going to be a short show for us on the bare minimum. Generally, we like to hang out and chop it up, but, shit happens, man. Foster's saying 27-19 Bears. If y'all got scores, throw them out there. We want to know what you guys think. I don't think anybody's going to be picking the fucking Rams, and I don't think that you should when you look at how this game can really – how these teams match up, man. So, like, yeah, let's get into it. I think it's a high-scoring game, Brandon. I really do. I think both of these offenses get off. I think the defenses make some plays here and there, but generally the offenses are going to dominate this game despite the weather conditions. But if there was an offense that's going to be better than the other because of those weather conditions, I would say the Chicago Bears, man. You got Ben Johnson and Sean McVay matching up these two great offensive minds. I think you're going to see some fireworks on offense, and the Rams got some players that are going to be really hard to stop for a Bears defense, even with their secondary fully healthy.
What's your score?
I'm going to say 45-41 Bears.
Damn.
I think it's like the Rams go up by a field goal kind of late in the game. The Bears get the ball back with enough time for Caleb to go get a touchdown. And I think these teams put up some fucking points, bro. I think they put up some points.
I'm gonna say
I'm way opposite of you, True. Way opposite.
34-24.
Thank you, Foster. 34-24. And you're thinking turnovers if you're saying that kind of score. I would imagine.
Well, and I think I've just pictured when I
Nice,
do that,
J2K.
when I project the game, I'm literally trying to kind of play the game in my head, just looking briefly as I can. I just think this Rams team can get up to like 17 points in the first half because that's when the Bears are going to get burned. But the Bears can score, I think, in this game against the Rams in the first half. I think their offense kind of goes into motion after that Packers game. So I think that the Bears I think they have like 10 points in that in the first half instead of fucking 6 or 0 or whatever it is they normally have. And then they come out and do what they do.
Bears 27, Rams 24, Shytex, I would imagine. I'll just reiterate this, man, before we go. Do not get into a hole against this Rams team. They will keep their foot on your throats and they will put you out of your misery. They're not going to let you hang around like the Packers did. Again, I know it's hard to say that about this Bears team that continually finds ways back in the games they should have no business being in, and we should never doubt them. We shouldn't. Even if they get down 21-0 in this game, we should not doubt them. It's just going to be really hard to do that in the divisional round of the playoffs against a team as good as the Rams with an offense as potent as them. 400 yards per game. These guys average 397 yards per game. Number one in the NFL. 31 points a game. It's you can't get in a hole against this team. You got to come out hot. You got to do what you do in the fourth quarter for all 4 quarters in this game. And I think Ben Johnson knows that. He said it himself.
Yep, it's time to stop fucking around, man.
Yeah, man.
You want to be a Super Bowl winning football team, you got to play 4 quarters.
Let's see it. Listen, guys, we love you. I'm sorry I got to go so early, but it's been a fun show. Bears are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Hang in there if the Bears get down. We all know what they're going to do. They're going to get back in it. Stay calm, stay focused.
These guys won't. There are a couple of people told me they turned the game off.
Those people aren't fans. Those are casuals. All right, guys. Bear the fuck down. Let's have a great weekend. Go Bears.